Good morning and welcome to the At Home with Roby show. I'm Ashley Davis, and along with Trent Hastings, President and CEO of the Roby family of companies, we're your hosts. Thanks for spending your Sunday morning with us. Whether you're in the car or on the couch, you're always at home with Roby. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's Andrew, R-O-B-Y.com. So, Trent, it's Sunday morning. I pull in the parking lot. I walk in the door. I look around. You know where to be found, buddy. What's going on?
I'm in church.
You're in church. It's a good place to be.
I'm actually on vacation with my wife's family on their homeland property up in Monmouth, Illinois. It's midwestern Illinois, near the Iowa border, near the Mississippi. And I'm actually sitting on the back porch looking at a bunch of corn stalks and a bunch of bean plants.
God's country.
It's good, man. It really is good. I think it goes along with the theme of the show today. I think we're doing staycations, what you can do with your house, simple life, cool things, and I've had a week up here of board games, picking apples, picking corn, going to the park. So a bunch of simpleness going on, and I love it.
That is awesome. And you were telling me this is your wife Reagan. This is her grandmother's property you're on. She's been going there since she was a kid, right?
It is. When Reagan and her sister were kids, her mom would put them on an airplane, I think from either 3 or 4, put them on an airplane every summer, and they would come up here and live on the farm the whole summer with their grandparents. And it's a simple farmhouse, and their job was they would detassel corn. I mean, they got a little older, 8, 9, they started detasseling corn. And I think her mom's one of 9 children, and her mom's the only one that moved out to the big city, moved to Charlotte. So that's fortunately she did that. So I got to meet my wife. That was 30-something years ago. And I just come up here and hang out. We don't lock doors, live on a highway, and go out and sit in the chair with the kids and get 18-wheelers to honk their horns at us, you know. Good old days.
It's a throwback. I'll tell you, you and I kind of caught up a little bit earlier in the week when you were heading out there, and it just reminded me so much of when I was a kid, and I would go to my grandparents' house down in South Carolina. They lived in Saluda. We literally would sit outside, and at night you'd see the car lights coming, and you'd hear the kind of the whirl of the tires on the street. I just remember that so vividly. You're just out there with the stars, and it's so quiet. It's just you don't get that enough nowadays.
Oh, I love it. We try to come up here 2 times a year, spend 7 to 10 days when we come. I mean, it's a road trip. If you drive straight through, it's 13 hours. And we try to make a night of it somewhere in between, like Louisville or I don't know, Louisville is where we stayed this time. But it's really cool. You know, I get out here, I don't have anything to do. I got my phone. My phone works well. There's a Verizon tower across the street, and I get to look up properties and look up real estate, and I'm always looking at business. And the land up here is farmland. Now, farmland has been hot over the last 5 or 6 years because commodities have been high. Now, I know lately commodities have come down, but corn and beans is what they grow, and I think the land prices are still pretty good. They're still pretty good, so they're selling up here for farmland about $14,000-$15,000 an acre, kind of give you some relation to what's going on in Charlotte.
Wow, it's not bad. It's not bad. Is there? So in Charlotte, you have a lot of farms that are just disappearing. They're becoming neighborhoods. The growth in Charlotte is exploding, and you and I talk about that on several shows. It's a little different up there, though, right? You don't really have that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be farmland. It's staying farmland here. I mean, I'm in a small town, Monmouth, and quite frankly, it's sad because what's happening with these farms are the big companies like Monsanto and stuff are buying up these 100-acre, 200-acre family farms. And the modern-day farmer, if the kids stay in farming, if they go to college, they go work at Monsanto and they study seeds and they study the science of it. That's pretty cool. But what's happening is it's pulling the next generation of people and kids out of these small towns. So these small towns are kind of dying because they're just becoming farmland managed by seasonal workers. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on what I feel about it. Every time I come up here, I'm always like, goodness gracious, I could run this 200-acre farm, and this be my life. But no, I love business, I love construction, and I love Charlotte as my home.
Yeah, and it is good to see. It's great to get back to that, but it is there's a vibrancy about Charlotte that's happening, and even though it's kind of spreading out and you're losing some of that, it's nice to be able to be a part of that. And you don't have to go to Illinois. You can drive out to Union County if people wanted to buy some land and have their own farm. They could still have that connection to Charlotte, but within 45 minutes or an hour, they could have that same feeling. And I think that's what's pretty cool about the Charlotte market.
Yeah, and what's neat is, I'm sitting here on this porch looking at this farmland. That's what South Park used to be, right?
Oh,
South Park was way out. I remember as a kid driving out on Highway 51 out where Pineville is, and I thought that was, I thought we were halfway to the beach.
I remember I met a guy who used to go quail hunting in South Park. That was like back when it was an old farm. They'd go quail hunting there.
That guy probably isn't young either.
He is not a young guy. He is. Now it's Quail Hollow and one of the nicest golf courses in the country.
Right. So. Now he owns 10 acres in Quail Hollow.
Exactly.
And his name is Johnny Harris.
Hey, buddy, we talk a lot about music on this show, but there's a song called "Out Here in the Middle" by a guy named James McMurtry. You should look that up. It's all about living out in the farmland and out in the middle part of the country. So you'd actually like that too.
I'll do that when we get off the phone.
All right, Trent, you're on vacation. You're out there in your own field of dreams a little bit. But when we come back, we're going to talk about how, if you're back here in Charlotte, how you can beat the heat. It's hot outside. You want to stay indoors. We're going to talk about how you can turn your home into a cool home staycation spot. You're listening to the At Home with Roby show. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's Andrew, ROBY.com. Or you can go to WBT.com and click on the At Home with Roby page. Stay with us. We'll be right back.